Today is the only guarantee you have. In fact, the phrase right now better describes what I'm alluding to. Man has a hard time wrapping his mind around such things as infinity, the void of outer space, or the lack of it because of the duality of the universe. I see the same emptiness in people, but those same people could easily be viewed as complicated creatures incapable of depth, if that makes any sense. I think of a man I used to work with. Despite his relatively modest lifestyle, his self-manifestation of character implies absolute materialism. Out of his two daughters, he describes one of them as being the loser, to put it lightly. The other is a star child, attending college, dates nice, albeit nerdy guys, and doesn't get too involved, but is still commitment-minded. She appears in this commercial as being focused, quite determined, and will one day be a well-put-together individual with a comfortable life, with no other worries but her and some buttoned-down, university-educated mama's boy maintaining their jobs and depending upon economic outpatient care to maintain their lifestyles, which of course will be based entirely on their reputation with some credit reporting agencies. In telling me about her one day, he identified the quality of her character as well as his, a few simple words, which have stuck with me ever since and frightens me beyond belief. He said the most important thing in her life is money. At any cost, she makes sure she has it or that she will get it. I attempted to throw in a comment about that being kind of sad, but he quickly threw in the statement that he was so proud of her and that he taught her well and wishes his other child were the same way. To reflect on him for a moment, let's put it this way. He makes plenty of money doing a white-collar job which requires no particular talent, as most of them don't, and thinks, breathes, eats, and is quite consumed by work. I mention talent because in working in a nameless time clock punching company for so long, I began to realize how easy it was to lose one's own identity very quickly. It's not something you'll miss. Fear keeps you there, and fear brings out a human instinct that can adapt into some pretty diverse situations. What fear? Terrorism? Disease? No. Losing what you have acquired. Think about it. What do you fear more? And be honest. A terrorist setting off a chlorine bomb in a shopping mall in bumfuck California? Or your house being foreclosed? See, national security is one of the biggest lies to ever be perpetrated throughout history when the people's priorities are outside the realm of importance to the governing body. The old saying, "We'll supply the rain so long as you build the pyramids," becomes relevant once again. Let's talk numbers and apply a mathematical value to the importance of the Department of Homeland Security of, say, 3, on a scale of, say, 20. From what's in my head, there are only 3 more things to consume the remaining 17 points: your job, your home, and your family. These 3 are intertwined. One will collapse the other. However, during 9/11, the anthrax scares, Oklahoma City, the Iraq War, we all continue to work, care for one another, and pay our light bills. These things are priorities. Barring the prospect of officially declared all-out domestic war, we will continue to perform our duties, not for our country, but for ourselves and the ones close to us. So what caused that type of war in Iraq? Our insecurity, but not ours, the administration's. It was illogical to think Hussein posed any threat to us, or even the Taliban, and look what we have done to them, not by our preemptive action, but by our lack of it. Americans, as my examples above prove to me, are shallow and materialistic, so no matter the motivations of the administration, those examples are the ones who will believe you if you tell them that everything they've worked for will be lost if we do not eradicate terrorism, which is utter nonsense. Those examples will lose it all solely because they allow themselves to not only be consumed by lies, they are simply not thinking beyond their own 3,000 square foot homes. And apparently they are oblivious to the fact that they are attacking an idea, such as a radical Islamic viewpoint, only vindicates the clerics when they say they are being threatened, and if they sit passive, their livelihood will be destroyed. And what I'm trying to say is that that's true. All across America, people are being completely passive, shallow, and materialistic. They are allowing the radicals to do all the speaking for them. Think about it this way. What care in the world does our president have? He lives in a free house, has people protecting him, drive him around. He probably eats for free, I'm sure. He is on a world stage. Yes, terrorism is a threat to his presidency. It is a threat to his administration. But by their actions, the problem only self-sustains. They take action to secure their own control domestically, and by military conquest, make the people at home feel secure, which, as I've attempted to demonstrate, is just a commercial. an advertisement to remind you that you need the government to protect you, which is just untrue. In the Declaration of Independence, it made clear that one of the biggest problems was that the military power had been rendered superior to the civil power. People, you have allowed your government to reach a size and scope that has allowed itself to operate completely independent of accountability, except for what it imposes upon itself. Yet you still listen and fear what they tell you to fear. Just keep in mind that they've created a real threat, but only after they told you there was one to begin with, which by then was too late, and it was because of yet another autonomous government action, inept, ignorant, or decisive foreign policy, dependent upon perspective. Now think of this as you will. This is part 1. I'll get to part 2 soon. Peace be upon you.